It's 8:20. The shoes are missing. The bag isn't packed. You have asked the same question 4 times, and you can hear your own voice changing. And the part that stings most is what you're thinking by the door. I love this child, and I have been angry at them every single morning this week. If that's your house, nothing is wrong with you, and nothing is wrong with your child. Mornings ask for exactly the skills that ADHD makes hardest. And almost nobody explains that before handing you a routine chart and wishing you luck. So here are 5 changes that make mornings measurably calmer. They're free, none of them need your child to try harder, and most families feel a difference inside a week. I'll also explain why mornings specifically are so hard. Because once you see the mechanism, the tricks stop feeling like tricks and start making obvious sense. One honest note. This isn't medical advice, and it isn't a diagnosis. If mornings are part of a wider picture that's worrying you, the people to talk to are your child's doctor or a specialist. What follows is practical support, not treatment. Before the tricks, the mechanism, because it changes how you read everything your child does before school. A morning routine isn't one task. It's a chain of them, held in your head, in order, while time moves and nothing reminds you. That's working memory, sequencing, time awareness, and starting things without a prompt. And those are precisely the areas ADHD affects. Your child isn't failing an easy task. They're being asked, at the worst hour of the day, to do the thing their brain finds hardest. Add one more layer. Most children with ADHD are not fully awake in the way adults assume. The gap between eyes open and brain running can be long, and everything asked inside that gap costs double. So when you hear, he can focus on games for hours, so he could do this if he wanted, that's the misunderstanding right there. Interest changes everything for an ADHD brain. Getting dressed will never be interesting. That isn't defiance. It's how the wiring works. The first trick, move every decision you can into the evening. Clothes chosen and laid out. Bag packed and by the door. Breakfast decided. Not because the morning is short, but because decisions are expensive for a tired brain. And every one you remove in the evening is one that can't derail you at 8 o'clock. The second, stop saying the steps and start showing them. Verbal reminders vanish the second you finish speaking, and they put you in the role of nag every morning, forever. A visual sequence, pictures or simple words, in order, on the wall or the fridge, does that job silently. The shift matters more than it sounds. When the chart holds the sequence, your child checks the chart instead of waiting for you. You stop being the reminder and start being the parent again. The third trick is the one families almost never try, and it's often the one that changes the morning most. Move the body before you ask the brain for anything. 5 minutes of movement first, jumping, a quick dance, running up and down the stairs, a short walk with the dog. Not as a reward for getting ready, before getting ready. For a lot of children with ADHD, movement is what brings the system online, and asking for stillness and focus from a body that hasn't woken up is asking for the impossible. Yes, it feels wrong. You're already short of time, and I'm telling you to add 5 minutes of jumping. But watch what happens to the 20 minutes afterwards. Most parents who try this find the movement pays for itself several times over, because the tasks after it stop needing repeating. It doesn't have to look like exercise either. Carrying the recycling out, a race to the end of the garden, 10-star jumps by the stairs, helping you shake out a duvet. Anything that gets the heart rate up for a few minutes counts. What you're after isn't fitness. It's the switch from asleep to available, and bodies make that switch faster than instructions do. The fourth trick is the smallest change on this list, and the one you'll use every day. Stop saying, "Go and get ready." Get ready is not a task. It's a folder containing 8 tasks, and opening that folder is exactly the executive function job that's hard here. What your child hears is a large, vague cloud, and the response to a large, vague cloud is to stand still or wander off. So name one thing. Shoes on. Wait until the shoes are on. Then, coat. One instruction, one action, then the next. It's slower to say and much faster in practice, because you're no longer repeating an instruction that was never actionable in the first place. And you'll notice your own voice stays level, which changes the temperature of the whole house. The 5th trick is about time, and it's the one that needs the most honesty from us as parents. The instinct when mornings go badly is to push for speed. Hurry up, we're late, quickly. But speed is the thing an ADHD brain has least access to under pressure. And pressure makes the executive functions we're relying on work worse, not better. Rushing a child who is already struggling to start is like revving an engine that isn't in gear. So change the start, not the pace. Move the whole thing 15 minutes earlier and protect that quarter of an hour like it's a school subject. 15 minutes of slack is what turns a crisis into a delay, and a delay is survivable. And build in the transition warning, 10 minutes until we leave, then 5. The warning is not nagging. It's giving a child with weak time awareness the information everyone else's brain supplies for free. If you want to make that warning do twice the work, make time visible. A timer they can see counting down, or a clock with a colored section marking the time left, turns an abstract idea into something concrete. 10 minutes means very little to a brain that doesn't track time well. A shrinking band of color means a great deal, and it takes the countdown out of your voice, which does something quiet and useful to the mood in the room. So what's the one thing to do tomorrow? Just one. Pick trick number 4. Tomorrow morning, don't say, "Get ready," once. Replace it with one task at a time. Shoes, then coat, then bag, and say nothing else. That's it. Not all 5. One change, one morning, so you can actually tell whether it worked. If it does, add the night before routine next week and the movement the week after. And one more thing, because you need to hear it. A hard morning is not evidence that you're doing this badly. It's evidence that you're doing something genuinely difficult. Before coffee, every day. Mornings won't become perfect, but they can stop being a fight. And that usually starts with the realization that your child was never refusing. They were stuck at the first step, waiting for someone to name it. If this made tomorrow morning feel more possible, subscribe. One topic every week for parents and teachers of neurodivergent kids. No fear, no judgment, just support. See you next week.